Hey guys, Jacqueline Fernandez here at the Alert Center. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Today, Josh Planos with the Better Business Bureau is joining us this chilly Tuesday to talk about car buying best practices. So for new cars, newly on the lot, and perhaps for some used cars, maybe they're just a year or two old, but I'll let him kind of give you the details there. So let's introduce Josh. Josh, again, thank you so much for joining us at the Alert Center. I'm excited to talk about the excitement of getting a new car.
Yeah, the world is your oyster, Jacqueline. Anytime you step on a dealership, it seems like you could walk away with anything. It can be an incredibly stressful experience, though. But luckily,
Right.
it doesn't have to be, right? There are a couple of things to work through as you consider that next opportunity for yourself or your family.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us, give us some of those best practices, if you will. Tell us some tips, Josh, that you recommend.
So first things first, have a realistic budget for what it is that you're going in to secure. You don't want to borrow more than you can afford. You want to also factor in things like taxes, fees like insurance, and future expenses like gas, maintenance, and repairs. Gas and maintenance, ideally with electric vehicles, right? Something to factor in as well. And you also want to know what those payment options are when you get to the dealership. You can decide, for instance, in advance if you're going to probably pay more in full, or if you're going to finance. Paying in full will avoid that interest, but it'll require a little bit more cash up front. Financing, on the other hand, will lower some of those upfront costs, but it'll increase your overall expenses due to interest. So having a general sense, right, for what it is that you're going to secure. Ideally, if you can find a make and model online, you can do a lot of that work beforehand, such that you're not as prone to perhaps getting in and driving off in a vehicle that you didn't anticipate securing.
Yeah, yeah. So there are a lot of things that we need to kind of be prepared to just make sure that we're ready for this purchase, because a car can be a really big purchase for some people, depending on what kind of a car you're looking forward to buying, right? So like a new model or a used model, and then you kind of lay this out for us per usual online. So let me just head over here real quick, Josh, and tell us more about our options. So 23 BBB tips for buying the perfect new car. Consider payment options. You mentioned some of these, and financing and pre-approvals and whatnot. Can you elaborate for me just how important it is to really, really, really make sure you do set that budget, right? You don't want to go over.
Yeah, and a lot of folks do end up on the car lot thinking, the dealer's really going to walk me through everything that I need to know before I make a purchase that I'm comfortable with. And while many of them do, you also don't want to be peer pressured into buying things or purchasing things that maybe you're not pre-approved for, maybe you don't have the budget for, maybe that don't fit your needs as well, right? Like, let's say you're based in Omaha and you have to drive to Lincoln, each week. Driving a sports car might be very difficult throughout those winter months, right? So having a general sense of not only what's good today, but what is going to be good tomorrow for me, what's going to be good season to season for me, is really essential to factor in, because obviously what we're experiencing today is a lot different than what we experienced over the weekend weather-wise. So we want something that's a little bit more suitable for the conditions that we have here in the state.
Yeah, that's definitely some good advice. So maybe, put the Maserati on hold for now and then, consider something a little bit more safe, a little bit more area friendly, I should say. So always some good tips there. And then wanted to chat just briefly along those lines of, what if you're buying a used car? It was used before, but, it'll be new to you. Any quick tips you can shell out or give viewers today?
Absolutely take your time. I mean, certainly you want to do your research ahead of time so you know exactly what that market rate is going to be, particularly for that make and model with the certain mileage that you're looking at. But also, before you drive off, it's essential that you inspect everything. A lot of the materials that you will receive indicate that will indicate whether or not that vehicle has been, involved in a crash previously. And while that's all very, very important, there are all a lot of things that accumulate over the time a vehicle spends on the lot, right? So you don't want to get back home and realize the door was dipped. You don't want to get back home and realize, that warranty was not actually in place. You don't want to get back home and realize that something that, a simple search around the vehicle and taking your time and really ensuring that everything is exactly the way you anticipate it to be. Uh, you know, you really want to make sure that you're doing that before, because it's very difficult to go back. Some dealers will, make things right by you, but you really want to make sure that everything is in place before you drive off the lot, because a lot can happen. As anyone who has ever experienced driving on the highway attends.
Yeah, no, I bought a used car here in Omaha, and thankfully I went through a great dealership. But yeah, you really do. I just take that checklist with me, right? I mean, it may look foolish to some, but at least you're covering your own bases.
Absolutely, and that's really useful, even just from a bargaining perspective. A dealer is going to present in a different way when they see that someone has done their homework, and while respect and integrity is going to be essential regardless of where it is that you go. The hope is, right? You want to at least give off the impression that you have done a bare minimum of your homework before you came in. You know what your expectations are, and they will meet you where those expectations are.
Yeah, that's great. Some great advice, Josh, per usual. Thank you so much for your time today, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jacqueline.
All right, see ya. All right, so if you are just joining us,